Well, hello friends, Coach Bob with you today. Well, let me close this thing up just a little bit. It's a little noisy if I don't do that. Well, hello friends, Coach Bob with you today. And today, man, have I got a great video for you. You know, these are my favorite kinds. These are the motivational, inspirational. I got a lot to share with you today. It's not only is it going to be inspiration for you, it's also inspiration for me because things have been going on. I've gotten hundreds of emails and dozens of phone calls about, Coach, where are you and are you okay? So I want you to know I'm going to be trying to return some of those emails, respond to them, and also return some of those phone calls. So don't give up on me. Today is Saturday, the day that this actual video is being made. I hope to have it up by, say, 5 or 6 this evening. But time has been kind of crazy, and I want to talk to you about life and giving up and how sometimes that in our lives we feel like quitting, but we can't do that. And you know, I'm sure that you have never been that way. You've never been in that position. You're probably way better than me, but just in case you fall into the category of wanting to give up or give in at a moment of weakness, this video will not only help you, but it will help the people around you as you are in those moments of frailty. Yes, this is a crazy, fragile world. So first off, before we get going, if you would, give the video a big old fat thumbs up because, you know, a regular one wouldn't do. Subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, all that stuff. There you go. Enough of the sales pitch. All right, so let's give you a little background of why I have not been around, and I'm sure that some of you will be able to kind of figure out what's been going on, but let's do it anyway. All right, well, so 4 weeks ago, my daughter Baba, the one who's dealing with the metastatic cancer spread to her lungs, she was going into septic shock, and things got really scary. We'll just say that it could have ended in her demise, and we got her in the emergency room at the right time. Had we been much later, this would be a different story. So multiple days in the hospital, very, 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 very sick. Then she got out, had a bronchoscope and a bronchial lavage where they clean your lungs out with a fluid type thing. Fast forward another few weeks, and then she was having some severe back pain. We weren't sure what it was. It ended up being severe muscle spasms. But it was a good thing because we got her to the hospital. She was developing an infection again, and so they were able to give her some IV antibiotics and some fluids that did away with the spasms and the infection. So it ended up being a blessing. But that was this past weekend. So last weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we were at the hospital. Then Tuesday, she was feeling pretty ratty, you know, Monday night, Tuesday morning, as you can imagine you would feel after being in the hospital. And she ended up having to have a treatment done Tuesday morning. Yeah, man, that's a tall order, isn't it? You know, you're sick for 3 or 4 days in the hospital, then the next day you get up and go have a chemo treatment, man. You know, that's like a kick in the teeth, isn't it? So then she did that. Well, then we had Wednesday was a swim meet. Thursday, it was time with family, doing some things. And then Friday, I had a big doctor's appointment for my heart. And then here we are on Saturday. So you can see the last 8 days has been wide open. And before that, things were pretty much like this for the last month. It's been nuts. The stress level's been unbelievably high. There's been a lot going on. And so getting videos was low priority. But I want you to know that I have not quit. I did not quit on you, and I don't want you to think that you are in danger of losing Coach Bob 3, because I will not quit on you. That I can assure you. And my daughter this week, we were talking about quitting. We were talking about giving up. You know, multiple times she's told me, Dad, just leave it be and let me go. And those are in her moments where she's really feeling her worst. In that moment of weakness, that fragile state, it's let me die, let me go, this isn't worth it. Once we get her through that stage, right, it's different. She's like, whoa, man, I sure am glad you didn't listen to me. Man, that would have been bad. I wouldn't be here right now. I'm glad to be here, Dad. So I know that is a radical position, right? Because most people don't go to that edge where they want to give up like that. Most people want to give up on other things, but those things have great value as well. Maybe it's you want to give up on your spouse. My marriage isn't worth it. Maybe you want to give up on your children. They keep getting into trouble and they keep being a problem. Maybe you want to give up on your health. Maybe you've put on weight and you're like, this is irretrievable. I can't do it. I just want to quit. What is the use? That's the phrase Baba and I used this week was, what's the use syndrome? And when you get into what's the use syndrome, you are in grave danger. You know, there's an old proverb. It says this: fall down 7 times, get up 8. That's the premise of this whole thing. You know, I coach, as you guys know, and one of the things that we do, and we do it 7 times, we say this: I will never quit. Vince Lombardi said this: winners never quit and quitters never win. That is an absolute fact. If you give up on your marriage, you will not win. I promise you that. I guarantee you that. So Vince Lombardi said this, you know, and I may not get it to the letter of it, but the spirit will be here. It said the difference between a successful person and a failure is not strength. It's not a lack of knowledge. It is a lack of will. So there's a few quotes for you. I'm going to tell you, you can write those down. You can look those up. They will be very helpful to you. It is a lack of will. It's difficult. It's hard. And we have weak moments. And so I'm going to give you some strategies on not giving up, on not giving in. And these things are life-changing concepts. I've seen them change the lives not only of athletes, but of sick people in my life. You know, I buried my first wife, my mother, my father, my brother. I have a daughter who is gravely ill at times. These things that I'm sharing with you are deep water subjects. They're things that will change your life and the lives of those around you. So the first thing you have to do in not giving up, you have to recognize what is actually important in your life. What are the things that you deal with or you think about daily? You know, Churchill had a phrase, and I can't quote it off the top of my head, but success is focusing on the things you think about daily. You know, things that are very important in your life. And I'm going to list a few of them here. God, your family, your spouse, your friends, your country, yourself, your personal health, your intellect, your spirituality, your abilities to do the things that you want to do in life. Those things, if you get up every morning thinking, man, I sure wish I could be in shape. Man, I sure wish I was a little smarter, or I wish I could run a little faster, or I wish I could be a little stronger. I wish I could lift my family more. Those things, I want you to know, are not goals. The world is going to tell you it's a goal, that personal excellence and fitness is a goal. I'm going to tell you there are parts of it that can be a goal, and there's nothing wrong with setting goals. A goal would be, I want to lose 20 pounds by February, okay? That's a goal. I want to be fit for life is a commitment. And so what you have to realize, the first thing in realizing that you cannot quit on commitments. You cannot quit on your commitments. So in order to recognize those, you have to recognize what you think about daily, what is important to you daily, and those commitments in your life. Those are the things. And when you recognize the difference, and you know, I guarantee you in your brain, it just went bing, 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 bing. You have your list already. In fact, I'll tell you, sit down, write them down, pause this video, write them down, and focus on those commitments in your life, because those commitments, you cannot quit on them. And when you realize again that they are commitments and not goals, you won't quit. You won't give in. You will figure out a way to make it happen. So the first thing you have to do to not be a quitter is determine what is a commitment in your life. What are you personally committed to? All right, so we've recognized that these are commitments and not goals, and now what we have to do is when we feel like giving up on those commitments, we need to visualize two things. These are two very important things too, by the way. I'm going to give you an example of what visualization in athleticism looks like. Here's what I tell my swimmers, okay? I want you to understand how vivid this is. Will you look at that? Isn't that just beautiful? My goodness, everything is green and clean. But when I tell a swimmer to visualize it, I'm like, okay, you're standing on the block. They say, swimmer, take your mark. You feel your weight shift towards your feet, and your arms are getting ready to pull you into the water. You hear the sound of the start. You drive off the block. It's the perfect start. Your arms fully extend. Your shoulders are almost dislocated so that you could be in a perfect streamline. Your chin is tucked. Your back is straight. Your toes are pointed. You feel your knees together. Suddenly you hit the water. It's the perfect entry. You feel the water streaming over your body as you begin your exhale as you're dolphin kicking down the pool. It's the perfect start. As you run out of air and you begin to lose speed and you feel yourself decelerate in the water, you immediately pull with your first stroke. And it's powerful and it's perfect. Your head position is exactly right. You gasp that first breath and you pull. It's that vivid. Do you understand how vivid it is? That's how I want you to visualize the things that I'm going to tell you about. I want you to visualize the perfect marriage. I want you to visualize in your marriage what you want it to be. Not only do I want you to visualize what success looks like, I want you to visualize what failure looks like. You need to realize what failure looks like, because if you don't, you're liable to take for granted what you have. Your physical health is the same way. Visualize what it looks like. What do you think about when you take your shirt off in front of the mirror, you're getting ready for bed and you're changing into your pajamas or putting on your bathrobe, and you're like, you look at yourself and you go, man, I have a V back. I have thin waistline. You know, I feel good about myself. Whatever it is, however you visualize what you need to look like, and then visualize the exact opposite of that. I have poor posture. I'm morbidly obese. I don't feel good. I have a hard time breathing. I have to take 10 pills a night. I don't want to take any. Visualize what those things are, and then take the proper steps for that commitment. That would mean short-term goals, moving towards the commitment in your life. So visualize success and visualize failure, because that is very, very important. You know, everything is created twice. You know, God did not have to speak the world into existence. He could have just thought it into existence. It was created twice. It was created in the all-knowing mind of God and spoken into existence, painting a picture of us that everything is created twice, first in the mind and then with the mouth. Believe what you're saying. Commit to it. You're not going to speak your abs into existence. I promise you that. But you can speak and convince your mind what you are going to do. Understand this. Your body, pain, suffering does not tell you what to do. You tell you what to do. We have will. That is the difference between us and animals. We have the will to do the right thing. You don't have to slow down I mean, obviously, I don't want you to go out and give yourself a heart attack. But when I'm training swimmers, I'm like, do not give in to that voice that tells you enough. Don't give in. Do not give in to it. If you give in to it now, you will give in to it later. You have to learn that commitment to self-excellence is paramount. And if you deny it now, you'll deny it later in your marriage. You'll deny it in your academic world. I'll let them know that you have been through it. If you can put yourself through it, that's the beauty of sports. It's the desire to push yourself to a point of pain in order to achieve greatness. That's what we have to do with our relationships. That's what we have to do with our God. That's what we have to do with our health. Visualize what you are going to do in your commitments, and then create goals that align with those commitments. The next thing you have to do, and I alluded to this earlier, this is a commitment in your life that you have to have in order to achieve any of these other commitments. This is number one. This is the building block. You have to have the desire within you to pursue personal excellence. Personal excellence. Now we're going to talk a little bit about personal excellence. What does that mean? You know, there are what we call personal and private victories, and then there are public victories. Personal excellence is one that does not demand a trophy. You know, we mock the current generation. We mock young people today, and we go, you know, everybody needs a trophy, right? But then there are a lot of times we feel the same way. We need the round of applause. We need the gold medal. Look, there's nothing wrong with getting a trophy. There's nothing wrong with getting a gold medal. There's nothing wrong with any of that. But understand that personal, private victories are just that. And they have to be fulfilling. In personal excellence, it requires you to be satisfied in your life knowing that no one may ever see what you've done. You know, my father, and you guys never met him, my dad, every day when my mother got up and walked into the living room, he said, "Good morning, sweet pea," and he loved her. And she made him a cup of coffee every day. No one ever saw my father greet my mother with his loving, kind tone. And my dad was a harsh man. For him to do that, that was a big thing, man. And that was something that he did every day as long as I could remember. And my mother chose to serve him and bring him a cup of coffee. And that was their morning ritual of commitment to one another, to build a great marriage. That is a very small thing, but you know what? My mom didn't say, "Thank you for calling me sweet pea." My dad often didn't say thank you for the coffee. They just sat there and talked while they drank their coffee. That's what they did. And that commitment, they expected nothing in return. They unselfishly gave. Now that is a very small thing that I just mentioned here. However, that small thing occurred for 62 years. So that's kind of a big thing. That commitment to one another, and that commitment to serving each other and doing these things daily through thick and thin. When I guarantee you there were times my dad looked at mom and says, "She ain't my sweet pea right now. I'm a little ticked at her," but he didn't say it. And my mother may have said, I'd just as soon spit at his coffee as put sweetener in it, but she didn't do it. At least not that we know of. But their commitment to one another, that's what it looks like. There was no thank you. There was nothing other than the act, the unselfish act, the will to do more. You know, again, I'm not bragging ever about the things that I do when I'm working with my daughter, taking care of them. Please don't see it as that. Or when Coach Vic is dealing with something or I'm dealing with something. You know, there are times that I need Coach Vic to take care of me, especially through all this heart stuff. I needed her to bring me food when I could barely get out of the bed, and she did. She didn't expect a thank you. And quite honestly, I was so absorbed in my suffering that I may not have said a thank you. I don't know if I did or I didn't. And if I didn't, shame on me, because I should have. My daughter, when I'm taking care of her, she doesn't say thank you. I mean, she might every now and then. I don't expect a thank you. It's the unselfish act. It's the commitment. It's the commitment that matters. And those personal victories mean more to me than anything you can imagine. To see her lift her head off a pillow and go, "Thank you, Dad, for not giving up on me." Those things matter. That's the real deal, y'all. That's what you're looking for. And you're looking for it in everything. Personal victories when it comes to getting up in the morning, going to work out, eating right, making good health decisions. You know, I know there are those who say, you don't need to go to church. I'm going to tell you, whether you believe or not, I believe you need to go. I need to go whether you need to go or not. It helps feed my soul, and it puts me in a position to be committed to my God, and that's what I do. I don't need a ticker tape parade when I go to church. I don't need it. I don't get up so that I can go, well, I think I'll go to church and bless everybody with my presence and share my wisdom. No, I'm there to worship my God. I'm there to praise Him and love Him and thank Him for another week, because it was an awesome week. And if you're alive, it is an awesome week. You know, Helen Keller said this, that self-pity is our worst enemy, and that if we give into it, we will never do anything wise in this world. You know, I truly believe that, and I've given into that some, you guys. Now I'm going to close this video out with a confession, one that I don't have to make and may not resonate with a lot of you, but for those that it does resonate with, you know, I want you to know that you're going to have these moments, and that's the only reason I share this with you. I am not looking for pity. I don't want you to think that. There were times through this whole experience with my heart and through the fear of what I was going through that I just wanted to lay down and give up. I didn't want to help anyone. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to exist. And that is a bad, bad place. And if you're in that place, I want you to know that there's hope. I want you to know that this video is important, because I guarantee you, if this resonates, if this video gets one view where someone was saying, man, why? What's the purpose? What's the use syndrome, right? Then this video was worth my time. It was worth the trouble to edit it. You know, I'll have a few hours in this video, and that's okay. But again, if it resonates with one person, I don't give a hootenanny if it gets a bunch of views or makes me a bunch of money. It's about people. It's about that. But I want you to know you're going to feel like giving up. You're going to have moments of weakness. And I want you to know it's okay. Fall down 6, get up 7, fall down 7, get up 8. You cannot have a lack of will at the end of the day. It doesn't say that at lunchtime you might have a lack of will, but invariably you have to get up and dust yourself off and fight the good fight. You know, I told you earlier about my daughter wanting to just, Dad, let me die. Just let me die. I don't want to do this anymore. Most of us aren't in that place. Most of us aren't there. We're not dying. We're not dealing with something of that magnitude. But when she's in that place, it's important that I'm there for her. So there are also times that I may have the desire and the will to make a video or to do something, and I can't do it because I had to prioritize my commitments. Understand this, that giving up doesn't mean that every commitment is going to get 100% of the needed attention every day. That is not what it means. You're going to have moments where you're going to have to give up one for a little while so that you can serve the one that is in desperate need. You have to put out the fire. And when that fire is subdued, then it's time to step out and go back to your other commitment and figure out where you are, assess it, and see what needs to be done. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm taking what has happened to me over the last month, and I've assessed it, and now I'm here sharing my experience and learning with you. Do me a favor before we go, give the video a big old fat thumbs up and all that jazz. You know I would appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel. We are always trying to grow, but growth has more to do with this than this. Neither one of us need trophies. We'll get our trophy. We'll get what's due to us eventually, and that's a fact. All right. Well, there you have it. Another one in the books. So you do me a favor. You, yes you, go out, buy the motorcycle of your dreams, eat right, take care of yourself, and remember, if you're not having fun, you are most definitely doing it wrong. Now you go seize the day, and I'll see you on the road real soon. And I know that you will be doing it in a most excellent way. All right, here's a bonus for those who stuck around. So this is from a song by The Alarm called The Spirit of 76. I will never give in until the day that I die. I'll get myself some independence, carve out the future with my two bare hands. Oh my friend, oh my friend, oh my friend. Haha, there you go, a bonus just for you.